sparking strong feelings. Plus, parts of the upper Midwest is flooding. Will we see any of that here in Southeast Ohio? And how you can ensure teens use social media safely. Newswatch starts right now. A controversial proposal to tax properties in Athens and Hocking counties is sparking strong reactions. Good evening, I'm Lucy Schaefer. Welcome to Newswatch. Residents made their feelings on this known at a public hearing last night at the Athens Community Center. The Athens-Hocking Solid Waste District wants to impose a $24 parcel fee to purchase and run the Athens-Hocking Recycling Center. It also wants to use the additional money to accomplish goals in its 15-year plan. Some residents say keeping local control over recycling is important. Maria Bonner of Rural Action says it's an investment in the community and the future. Others feel the fees are being, quote, shoved down their throats. The next opportunity for public comment is July 2nd. Athens City Council member Micah McCary will be a candidate for the Ohio House of Representatives. McCary announced today that he will be running in the Ohio District 95 race. He replaces Lish Greiner as the Democratic candidate after Greiner withdrew from the race. McCary looks forward to starting his campaign and shared his hopes for the upcoming race.
Connecting with folks who have different backgrounds and values so that we can come and find some common ground. I'm certainly intending to be a candidate for all, and I value inclusion and uplifting folks.
McCary will run against Republican incumbent Don Jones. In East Palestine, Ohio, residents are angry over the National Transportation Safety Board's latest findings in the toxic train derailment. The report listing all of the mistakes the railroad made comes after some people in East Palestine have agreed to a settlement from Norfolk Southern. Anyone receiving compensation for a personal injury claim in the settlement forfeits the ability to file future claims against the railroad. Jamie Wallace says the settlement isn't finalized yet, and that's her next fight.
Per household. That's $17,000 for the 4 people in my household. But wait, we'll get zero, because when you were relocated, they're taking all those relocation expenses out of your settlement. So the most impacted residents that had to leave their homes because they were sick are going to get $0.
We'd ask for the truth over and over and over again, and it's a slap in the face. They lied to us, and even some of our own that we thought were fighting for us lied to us. We all kind of knew, but we were like, oh no, maybe we're wrong, and we weren't. So it's devastating.
The NTSB said more than 24 recommendations with the goal of preventing future disasters. The recommendations are not set in stone yet, and it's up to Congress to enforce them. Ohio's Special Olympics Summer Games is only days away, and each year the Flame of Hope crisscrosses the state to kick off the event. Yesterday, local law enforcement joined Special Olympic athlete Levi Bartos at the top of Court Street to help him bring the Flame of Hope down to the Convocation Center.
This is my favorite time of the year, states, whether it be winter or summer. So the excitement, I can't even explain it. Hopefully the C's on the face will show it.
The last leg of the torch run will end at Ohio Stadium in Columbus. The Special Olympic Ohio Summer Games will begin on Friday and last throughout the weekend.
First, looking at weather all throughout Southeast Ohio. Athens currently 81, making our way more up Ohio. We're going to be seeing those temperatures cooling down. Those clouds in that rain is really cooling down parts of more north of Ohio. And as we go into parts of West Virginia, they're looking pretty warm. Huntington 90, but going into the next couple hours, it's not going to be feeling the same. The radar, we're showing how the system above has really been impacting all of Ohio. It has been giving a lot of parts of Northeast Ohio a little bit more severe weather, and we're going to be feeling that very soon. As we zoom in on Southeast Ohio, these little blips here and there have been impacting Athens, and it's going to be impacting us tonight with this severe thunderstorm watch. Definitely stay weather aware, and I'll be talking about when you're going to be needing that umbrella next in my full forecast. Let's take it back over to Lucy.
Thanks, Isabel. 30 years after she was murdered, investigators in Portage County have exhumed the body of Catherine Menendez. Bob Jones has the latest on the cold case and the search for justice.
My concern for Catherine is that I want the woman to rest in peace.
Father David Weichart watched and prayed as investigators from the Portage County Sheriff's Office, the U.S. Marshal Service, and an FBI evidence collection team exhumed the body of Catherine Menendez at St. Joseph Cemetery in Alliance, where she was laid to rest in 1994 at the age of 17.
I am here just to be a presence, and so that the body is, I can make sure that the body is handled in a reverent way.
Chief Deputy Ralph Spitaleri says the exhumation 30 years after the murder took a lot of finesse and care over a 3-hour period, removing a concrete vault and casket from the ground and collecting evidence under a big white tent.
You do not want to disturb any movement within the casket as you're pulling it out.
Investigators say they've been following fresh leads over the past 2 years and got a court order to have the body exhumed. They're hoping significant advancements in DNA will lead to new clues and the killer.
We collected evidence that would have been potentially on the hands.
Catherine disappeared in 1994. Her body was found days later by the Berlin Reservoir on an oil access road in Portage County.
She had been strangled and stabbed, and she was left unclothed.
Her mother, Janet Menendez, who passed away earlier this year, spoke about her anguish in 2015 when investigators were re-examining the crime scene.
Kathy, you know, they can find who murdered her, and it's not going to change anything for me because my life's not going to change. Kathy's not going to come back.
Also in 1994, the body of 14-year-old Sarah Ray Boehm from Pennsylvania was found about a half-mile from where Catherine's body was discovered. Detectives say it's possible the same person is responsible for both killings. But for now, at this cemetery, the focus was on Catherine's case. Investigators are hopeful there could be a big break in the cold case.
I think that there's always hope, you know, or we wouldn't be here having the amount of manpower and amount of movement that we've had here today.
Catherine's remains were returned to her final resting place. Father Weichart is hoping for justice and peace.
I trust the mercy of God, and whatever the poor woman, whatever torment that ended her life, I hope that she's in peace in our Lord's arms.
A timeline on how long the testing process will take has not been announced. A historic building in Zanesville is being repurposed into a housing and commercial complex. The State Historic Preservation Tax Credit Program provides financial incentives for the redevelopment of historic buildings that are vacant or generate little economic activity. Baker Brothers Wholesale Grocery in downtown Zanesville is set to receive a $2 million tax credit. This former warehouse and commercial space was first constructed in the 1800s and is set to get a new look. Coming up, for the trial of the American journalist accused of spying begins. And ER visits spike as temperatures soar nationally.
You're going to need that umbrella tonight, but when is it going to be clearing out? Next on Newswatch.
I want my children and grandchildren to have a good place to live.
When we're out there burning, it's a way to maintain balance.
Dans ma propre vision, moi je me dis que c'est quelque chose de possible.
I want to leave a worthy legacy. With restoration of the land comes restoration of the people.
Tonight at 8 on WOUB.
When you hear the term the future, what does that conjure up?
What we do and the things we create over the next few decades will shape all minds going forward for the rest of time.
I set out in search of people who are building better futures.
Civilization is precious. Life is precious.
Hundreds of years from now, they're going to look back on our generation as the most pivotal in human history.
We are entertainers first. That's my stage.
There were some anger issues.
Oh.
You cannot be serious!
If you say sex is gold, I hope I was popular for my tennis.
She made women believe that they are equal to men.
Tennis was absolutely massive.
I'm an environmental educator. I have a degree in wildlife biology. I teach kids about nature and animals and wildlife.
What we're trying to do is make the outdoors accessible.
What is it like to be a person of color here in Denver?
The crowd will tighten up just if you bring up
being a person of color.
And then they put their guns on the table.
Yeah.
Oh
my God, that's a fish! That's a fish!
Oh, we got one.
Really.
Friday at 10 on WOUB.
The trial has begun for jailed American reporter Evan Gershkovich in Russia. It will be held behind closed doors, but media was briefly allowed into the courtroom before proceedings began. Gershkovich appeared healthy in a glass cell. No reporters, friends, family members, or U.S. Embassy staff will be allowed in the courtroom. The 32-year-old was detained in Moscow in March of last year when he was arrested and charged with spying. Russia alleges Gershkovich acted on CIA instructions to collect secret defense and military information. At least 2 people are dead after days of severe storms and catastrophic flooding in the upper Midwest. Multiple rivers are swollen to levels not seen in years, and receding waters in some areas present flooding risks for those downstream. Laura Aguirre brings us more.
Raging floodwaters around the Rapidan Dam in southern Minnesota finally claimed this house, teetering on the edge of the Blue Earth River. Local officials say the dam, built in the early 1900s, is in danger of imminent failure.
We're seeing trees, whole trees, just flowing right down the river, which is an incredibly important reminder for folks to stay away from the water and stay safe.
Water levels on the Minnesota, Missouri, and Mississippi rivers will see their highest levels in at least a decade, say forecasters, with a number of communities already accessible by boat.
It's heartbreaking to see anything like this.
More than 20 river gauges across the upper Midwest hit major flood stage, with more rain expected in flood-soaked areas Thursday. In Iowa, the Little Sioux River has washed over small towns like Correctionville after a levee failed, forcing evacuations there and in several surrounding communities. The Clay County Sheriff's Office confirms one of the flood-related deaths happened there when a man tried to drive through rapid-moving water last Saturday.
They need to stay out of the closed roads. They need to stop moving barricades and driving around them. We put them there to keep them safe.
Minnesota's governor is telling residents Wednesday to keep their receipts to get financial aid faster as property damage continues to grow by the hour.
Until some of the water recedes, we won't have the full picture of that as well.
I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
President Biden has issued a disaster declaration for several Iowa counties to accelerate federal resources into the area.
That system that they were just dealing with in the Midwest is what has been giving all of Ohio today that chance of some pretty severe storms. We're looking, this is not the right thing. Let's go into the right thing. Today, we're going to be seeing that low pressure system all throughout the day. Then going into tonight, going to continue that chance of thunderstorms. Currently, we're in the calm before the storm. All the parts of northern Ohio are having some more rain. That is going to be coming down, hitting us at about that 10 o'clock hour. That overnight low of 62, a little bit chillier than we were having last night with that combination of that 80% chance of thunderstorms. We are under the severe thunderstorm watch. That goes until about 10 p.m. tonight. So if you have any night plans, make sure that they're indoors and stay weather aware if you are going outside. We have a very good chance of having some severe thunderstorms. Right now, Southeast Ohio is getting sandwiched by these two systems that are making their way through, and then it's going to be making its way down to us in Athens. All throughout Ohio today, we're in that either marginal or slight risk for those isolated thunderstorms, and it is going to be bringing us that chance of thunderstorms later tonight. Looking at tomorrow, though, we're going to be clearing out. It's going to be mostly sunny. That temperature high, cooler than we've had these last few days with 83, and that low in those 50s at 57. Going into tomorrow morning, that is whenever we're having this system kind of make its way out. Going to be still impacting some parts of West Virginia, but it is also tailing behind a cold front, where that is what's giving us those cooler temperatures for tomorrow. 24 hours ahead, this time tomorrow, this high pressure from the north is making its way down, clearing us out and giving us a little bit of drier air. We've been feeling muggy here recently, and this is going to be a good break if you're heading outside during the day, just to feel a little less sticky. 36 hours ahead Friday, it's still going to be in this high pressure but this low system that is coming in from the west, hitting the Midwest once again, it's going to be giving us some rain this weekend. Once again, 48 hours ahead, this time on Friday. We're in the calm again before the storm hits us into this weekend. Once we hit Monday, we're going to have that high of 81. Those lows are going to be sticking with those 50 degrees, and we're going to be seeing by this time next week back in those 90s. Anytime that we're having these high temperatures, they're really going to be cooling down, but not sticking with those 90 degrees like we were having last week. It is going to be feeling a lot more seasonal and be feeling a lot better out there if you are heading outside. Other than this weekend, it is not the best that we're having those storms hit us for the weekend, but our work week is looking very nice without those chance of storms. We're going to be definitely wanting to see what this weekend is going to be looking like, so stick back with our forecast later. Let's take it back over to Lucy.
Thanks, Isabel. Health officials are seeing a sharp increase in patients with heat-related emergencies. The CDC says hospitals in more than 24 states are seeing extremely high numbers of patients suffering from heat-related illness. While the South and Southwest roast under temperatures in the 90s and triple digits, the states seeing the highest numbers are patients in the Northeast, Mid-Atlantic, Midwest, and Mountain West, where it's 80 to 90 degrees. The CDC says these areas aren't designed to deal with the heat, and people's bodies aren't used to the higher temperatures. The Federal Communications Commission has reached a $1 million settlement with Verizon over 911 call outages. The incident occurred in December 2022, affecting Alabama, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Tennessee. The outage lasted for 1 hour and 44 minutes. During that time, hundreds of people were not able to reach 911 on a Verizon Wireless's network. The FCC says Verizon violated FCC rules by failing to deliver 911 calls during the outage. To settle the matter, Verizon has agreed to implement a compliance plan and pay a $1 million civil penalty. MGA Entertainment is recalling 21 million Make It Mini sets. The items in the kids' kitchen play set contain unused liquid resin that cause skin, eye, respiratory, and respiratory irritation. MGA has received 26 reports of injury. The recalled sets include Make It Mini appliances, all models of series of Make It Mini food, and Make It Mini lifestyle. They were sold from October of 2020 until this month at several stores nationwide. These include Target, Walmart, Family Dollar, and Dollar General. Check your refrigerator's supply of smoked fish. Foppen Seafood is recalling its smoked Norwegian salmon slices because of possible listeria contamination. The recall affects 8.1-ounce toast-sized cuts sold at Kroger and Payless grocery stores in 15 states, including Ohio. The company says routine testing found the presence of listeria, which causes fever, muscle aches, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. Consumers should throw out the salmon or return it for a refund. Next, how birth control access may be limited in certain states. And for the latest from Newswatch, follow us on X, formerly Twitter, and YouTube.
President Joe Biden.
What is the risk in 2020 for our freedom, our very democracy?
Former President Donald Trump.
We're going to make America great again, and we're going to do it fast.
The candidates face off on the economy, the wars in Ukraine and the Middle East, and the future of the country. A PBS News simulcast with analysis of the CNN presidential debate, Thursday, June 27th at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central.
There have always been those of us looking for stories that keep us alive.
You're born to this world to make a difference.
This is about building systems that will save lives.
Ya solo ese pasto se está acabando. Es una especie en peligro de extinción.
No one is the same. Everybody is so unique.
For more than 70 years, WOUB Public Media has been the place where people in our region turn to learn how stories of the past ignite the imagination of the future. It's where information, entertainment, and education work together to inform, enlighten, and inspire generations. It's the place where the community gathers to hear and see our world in new and innovative ways. WOUB, the public media you trust that's worthy of your support.
WOUB is recognizing members of our Cornerstone Society. The Cornerstone Society is a group that wants to ensure the future of public media in our region. It includes people across our area who value news, entertainment, and cultural programming, as well as the educational services WOUB provides. Also included are graduates of Ohio University who took part in the WOUB Student Professional Development Program. Thanks to the Cornerstone Society for their generous support. To learn how you can be involved, email woub@woub.org.
Women who live in states with the most restrictive abortion laws are also now less likely to have access to prescription birth control. That's according to a study in the JAMA Network Open Medical Journal. Researchers looked at monthly prescription rates in a group of 12 states that had severe reproductive policies and compared them to 14 states where abortion rights remain consistent. Research found while the use of birth control pills had already been trending down, the rate fell 4% more than expected in most restricted states. A new study finds the healthcare industry needs to diversify its workforce to get rid of racial inequalities. According to the report by National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine, structural racism and people's surroundings are contributing to worse health outcomes for minorities in all states across the nation. It suggests more practicing physicians from diverse backgrounds and communities they serve can improve severe problem areas. After what he called a mental health crisis in young people, the U.S. Surgeon General suggested a warning label for social media platforms. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has tips on how to use social media safely.
When it comes to social media and mental health, the full impact is still unclear, but early research suggests it can affect a child's self-esteem, self-image, communication skills, and so much more.
Kids might be able to connect with others that they normally wouldn't connect with. They might have an opportunity to learn about something new, but we also know that there are dangers that come with social media use.
Licensed therapist Jody Baumstein with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta says adults can help children and teens use social media safely by setting clear limits and being consistent, having open, honest conversations about social media use, talking about the potential impact it has on mental health, and recognizing signs of social media use problems, especially if it appears there's a loss of control.
They are going to great lengths to try to gain access to it. They are using it in a really excessive way, hours and hours and hours, not being able to put it down, feeling like it has control over them. They might be withdrawing from friends and activities they used to love. It might be impacting their ability to just engage in daily functions.
Baumstein says that's when parents should step in and help children find some balance, encouraging other activities besides being on their phone.
We want them to have balance. We want them to feel like their life is more than just one thing, and that if they don't have that one thing, everything's falling apart.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Baumstein says when setting limits on social media, focus on what the child gains, including more time with friends in person or doing things they love to do away from their phone. Cancer centers in the U.S. say drug shortages are still an issue. They say the shortage impacts different varieties of oncology medications. This comes despite an improvement in the shortage of the chemotherapy drugs cisplatin and carboplatin. The data comes from new survey results released Wednesday by the National Comprehensive Cancer Network. Among 28 large cancer centers, 89% reported they had short supplies of at least one drug used for cancer, its symptoms, or the side effects of treatment. Health officials are warning about a disease you've probably never worried about before, dengue. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has reported 745 cases so far this year. That's the highest on record. Those cases have all been among travelers to climates where dengue is more common. But climate change has made the U.S. more hospitable to the types of mosquitoes that transmit the viruses. The CDC is warning doctors to be on the lookout for symptoms in patients who have recently traveled. A vaccine exists, but it is no longer being produced due to a lack of demand. Still ahead, these building blocks may seem familiar, but they're actually out of this world. But first, here's a look at what's coming up on your public television station.
Let's start at the beginning, shall we? I can't wait.
Back in the game, bringing the thunder, I'm making waves.
People will be watching your every move. I can handle it. Let's go.
So, what's your secret?
Things are starting to move in the right direction.
Tell us everything.
Are you ready for more? Just getting started. Locked on the target. Are you ready for more? No one is going to tell me who I can or can't be. Troubles, honey?
Like you wouldn't believe.
Hop in. Every day, I see the evidence of all that love can do.
Whatever happens, we'll be together.
There's nowhere else in the world I'd rather be. This was perfect.
I think it's really important for us to grow food in a sustainable, useful, and exciting way.
You know, who in their right mind would raise saltwater shrimp in the state of Minnesota? Now look at them all. Holy, just look at...
So this is the power of science.
Kelp makes a good base for a lot of things that you should be eating. It's beautiful.
Oh, hello. I'm Martha.
Tonight at 9 on WOUB.
You know soup's gonna be good when it starts with browned pancetta.
Get ready as Bridget, Julia, and the rest of the gang explore new recipes and cooking techniques.
And now the crimping begins.
Plus new gadgets, equipment, and ingredients.
Is there anything sadder than a burger on a plain bun?
It's a great new season of America's Test Kitchen.
I'm going through a lot of cake.
Finally tonight, the European Space Agency is experimenting with material found in space to use it to create structures there in the future. The ESA says scientists have already found a way to use meteorite dust to 3D print bricks to build small-scale astronaut shelters for the moon. The space bricks are similar to a Lego brick, and they are being displayed in select Lego stores around the world, including here in the U.S. through September. You can see the ESA space bricks at Lego locations in Disneyland, Florida's Disney Springs, Chicago's Water Tower Place, New York's Fifth Avenue, and Minnesota's Mall of America. Isabel, I used to play with Legos all the time when I was a kid. My brother still has a table full of them in our basement.
You know, I might be a little old, but I still love Legos. I still kind of build them. They have a little bit more of adult sets, and I feel like they're just like so reliable, and I feel like any time that they have those bricks, they just fit so well, and you can make anything out of them, as you can see. Well, for weather tonight, currently out there, 81, those clear skies. Tonight, though, we're going to have that chance of thunderstorms with that low of 62. We are under that severe thunderstorm watch until 10 p.m. It has been going since 4:30 till 10 p.m. So if you're going to head outside, make sure you're staying weather aware if you're going to need that umbrella or just to stay inside and wait it out. Today we had that general thunderstorm risk and slight thunderstorm risk throughout the day. It has been hitting us very hard in most parts of northern Ohio, and it's making its way down to us very soon. Tomorrow, though, mostly sunny skies, that temperature high of 83 and that low of 57, a little bit cooler than we've been having these last couple days. These next 7 days, we're going to be seeing Friday, 89, almost to those 90s. We're not going to be seeing those 90s again until Wednesday. This weekend might have a little damper on it with that chance of thunderstorms. Definitely stick back with us to see just when those will hit. And Monday and the rest of the work week, we're going to be having just those mostly sunny skies. Definitely wish those were for the weekend though, but our work week is going to be looking pretty nice out there. For the rest, looking at Sunday and Monday and Tuesday, they're definitely a little bit cooler of those overnight lows, so make sure you have that jacket.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. For Isabel Isco, I'm Lucy Schaefer. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at woub.org or follow us on.
This is the PBS app, ready for you when you want to watch full episodes of your favorite shows. Even stream your local station live. Stream anytime, anywhere with the free